Command Point now has merch. Link in the description. Warzone Studio was kind enough to send out a couple of their battle mats for us to review, and I have to say, you guys, I absolutely love them. The mats we received have the kill team layout on them, making it quicker and easier to place objectives and terrain pieces to create a good play experience. The mousepad material the mats are made from is an upgrade from the foldable cardstock boards that you are used to seeing come in kill team boxes. Warzone Studio are even helping support the channel by giving us a kickback for each order placed using the link in the description below. So make sure to check them out, and thank you to Warzone Studio for sponsoring this video.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Command Point. It is a very special day. It's one of our favorite days of the quarter of the year. It's Dataslate Day. Let's go. And we've been waiting for this one for a while. I mean, we had a really long, endless Commando meta, what felt like. Also kind of a Chaos Cults meta that we thought went away, but then didn't go away. So there's a lot. So first of all, I mean, we've got the article here. There's a video here with Elliot, the head game dev, but we're not going to watch that. We're not going to watch it. Basically, they just walk through and talk about all the different things. Yeah, so I mean, let's just get into it, and we'll talk about each thing, and we'll just blast through it and talk about how we feel. All right, no new core rules. Equipment, no, nothing about that. Nothing about crit ops, so we're keeping the competitive format the same. And no compendium, obviously. Commandos, this is what we're here for. Let's get this one out of the way. All right, so what do we got for commandos? Well, for a start, sneaky get tactical ploy. Here we go, guys. You can only use it once per battle, and that operative cannot have its order changed in the first turning point. So this was, okay, the order change thing, I wasn't sure if they were going to do anything like that. That's a good change. Overall, I mean, this needed to happen. The sneaky get down to once per game, I mean, it just should have happened regardless. That's like the one thing at the very top of the list, maybe behind Chaos Cult nerfs, but I'd say like 1A, 1B. That absolutely needed to happen. There was like no, I don't think there's any debate there. Even like the most die-hard Commando players, I think we're going to admit that was a a need for the game at this point. All right, so next up we've got Bomb Squig Operative. This operative's APL characteristic cannot be positively modified. So this one's interesting to talk about because it's like before people would give the comms buff or the the knob buff, whatever, to the Bomb Squig, and then it could move, dash, explode, so it would have an 11-inch explosion range. Technically, it can charge and explode, so it's got a 10-inch range normally. So you might look at it and say, oh, well, it has one less inch, really, that it can threaten, which it is kind of true. It has one less total inch it can threaten. But this does still change things. Like, if there's not somebody that you can charge, then you can't blow up on anybody greater than 8 inches away from you. And if they're within, the move explode range, then they're in charge explode range. So it's not exactly like they just have one less inch. It's like the threat ranges are now different. As long as it's for the player playing against the Bomb Squig, it's a lot simpler. You just stay out of its charge range, and it can't blow up on you. But otherwise, yeah, even if it can charge you, now it can't get you from 11 inches away. All right. That was a good change. I think, yeah. Honestly, just before we move on, I flat out, I don't think this is enough. I think that Commandos genuinely needed just a scratch to get nerfed. Who knows, after these set of nerfs, they may not be the best team anymore, but I still think they're like a really significant skew for a lot of teams because of just a scratch. Like, some teams just cannot chew through the million wounds plus just a scratch every turn that Commandos have on the board. And 11 activations on a team like that is just unacceptable. So, yes, this takes Commandos from being like absolutely broken to very, very strong, I guess, is my takeaway. But let's see what else is in here. All right, Pathfinders. There is a Pathfinder change here. Operative selection. Selecting recon drone operative no longer requires you to select one less operative. Whoa, okay. Okay. And then there's another change. Drone controller Pathfinder operative gains the following ability Focused EMP override. If he's in the kill zone, friendly drones can open doors. Wow, okay. So now... Okay. Holy crap. So first of all, I mean, now you just take the recon drone every game. There's not a choice. I thought it was interesting before where, like, if you're playing against an elite team, then you drop an operative, but you get the recon drone. I thought that was interesting. Now we're back to taking it every game. Also, drones can open doors now. I mean, okay. They struggle into the dark, fine. But that recon drone change, they're back to having 12 models with a recon drone. Yeah, I don't see how that's necessary. I think that this is just something that helps them crush the things they're good against already harder. Wow, yeah, that's great. That's a significant change, guys. I think Pathfinders are maybe bouncing back into like the very tip-top tiers. I don't like it. Not a huge fan. Okay, let's move on. Novitiates, nothing. Phobos, nothing. Legionary, nothing. Corsairs, okay. Outcast, strategic ploy. Change distance requirement to 3 inches. So Outcast is the ploy where the strat ploy, if they attack somebody when they're more than 6 inches from friendly operatives, when they do it, if they get a crit, they can turn a fail into a normal. Now they need to be more than 3 inches. So it's a lot easier to get that off. It's fine, I guess. That's okay. It doesn't really help them, if I'm being honest. Their problem isn't, it's not that they're not spiking frequently enough. The problem is that they have no like insurance when they whiff, so that doesn't help them a ton. I don't know, like if they're getting that, they're already critting, and I don't know. Anyway, and then Deadly Ambush. If the friendly operative has a conceal order and is ready, you can change it to engage to do so. That's a really big buff, actually. That is significant. So Deadly Ambush, if an operative moves within, I think it's 3 inches of you. Before, if you were ready and engaged, you could like interrupt and do like a 3-inch charge. Now you can be concealed and do it. So like a lot of things work like this, but they usually need engage. You don't get to flip the order. The Corsair players have been asking for this for a while, and I've always kind of been of the mind that it's not necessary. I don't love that, really. I kind of wish it didn't work that way. Okay, well, let's move on. So, Geller Pox, nothing. Star Striders, nothing. Hunter Clade, we have some changes here. The Protector Imperative optimization to each time a friendly Hunter Clade operative makes a shooting attack in the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, you can reroll one of your attack dice. So now it's not like if you fail 2, you can reroll 1. You just get a reroll. That's fine. It probably should have just been that way to begin with. I think it being that way before was like a symptom of this being like an older, kind of outdated team with like weird restrictions. So I like that they changed that. But although I just want to say Hunter Clade is a fine team. I don't know why we're buffing Hunter Clade outside of like making them less outdated. I don't think they need to get buffed. But okay, next one. Change Bulwark imperative optimization to each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly Hunter Clade operative in the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack. You can reroll one of your defense dice. That's also just better. Before it was like really bad. Like you would need to fail 2 defense dice in order to get a reroll, which like if you're getting hit by AP2, you're not getting that. If you're in cover, you're probably not getting it a lot of the time. In cover against AP1, you're not getting it. It was just like really bad. But that's better. I mean, some people were literally like taking the deprecation on another imperative just because they didn't want to take Bulwark wasn't good enough. So that's a good change. And then you also, the deprecation is you can't do dash actions. That will never matter. I'll tell you why, because nobody's going to take Bulwark twice, even with the better version of it. That is like a nothing change, in my opinion. But let's move up. We have Void Dancer, nothing. Wormblade, let's go, baby. I love Wormblade. Wormblade has never gotten balance changes, so let's see what we got here. Change second paragraph of Cult Ambush ability to the first time this operative performs either a fight or shoot action in each of its activations, if its order was changed from conceal to engage during that activation, or it was invisible to every enemy operative at the start of that activation, in the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can reroll any or all of your attack dice results of one result. So now, okay, so this is written in a weird way, and I don't know why they wrote it this way, because there's no way that that's what they mean. So it says if it wasn't visible to every enemy operative. I think what they're trying to say is if it wasn't visible to any enemy operative. But it says every. If it's every, then the entire enemy team, every operative needs to see you, or else you get called to ambush. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's probably not how this works, guys. God. GW, write this better. Doesn't need to be this confusing. There's no way that it works like that, guys. But it rules as written, I guess, yeah. For now, I would encourage TOs to just not rule it that way. But that's actually huge, though. If it's even the worst way, the way that it's technically not written, but how it seems intended, that's actually really sweet, because there's a lot of ways that you can set up call to ambush now. First of all, it works out of hiding. That's huge. That's so huge, because it didn't ever really work out of hiding. Some people thought it did. I always thought thematically it should, but then they FAQ'd and clarified that it can't. Now it just does with this new clarification. So that's huge. So like the offensive output on turn 1 is so much better now, which I'm really excited about. Okay, next up, add the following to Talon Operative's Familiar's Soulsight action. Until the end of the turning point, each time this operative fights in combat with that enemy operative, and the resolve successful hit step of that combat, the first time you resolve one of your successful critical hits, you can immediately resolve one of your successful normal hits, or a successful critical hit if you have none, so no normals. Whoa, okay, so we just made the Talon good. So before, the Talon was literally never taken. You would take the Locust and the Kellermorph, or the Kellermorph and the Sniper. Now the Talon is actually this is one of the best melee operatives in the game, honestly. It's still they made it interesting, because I'm sure there's going to be moments where you take the Locust over the Talon, or the Talon over the Locust. The Kellermorph is still probably the best, but you have the opportunity to flex into double melee guys if you really want. I don't know when you would do that, because Kellermorph is amazing. But really, I mean, and it's lethal 4-up, balanced, hitting on 2s, 3/6 damage, and brutal, I think. So if you're doing this, you could very feasibly one-shot a 12-wound model, like a Marine, without getting hit. Granted, you need to not have a normal, but with Cult Ambush and balanced, you could actually set that up. Lethal 4-up, it's really doable. But even if you don't get the double crit opportunity, you can crit normal for 9 damage. That's one-shotting a lot of things in the game. And with Marines, assuming you're hitting 4 hits, which you probably are, because 4 attacks on 2 is balanced, and Cult Ambush, you're still crit hitting them for 9, and then you probably have another crit and another hit, or 2 more crits. That's really, really good. Okay, that's really good. So the Talon, they really fit the I think they hit the theme on this. It's like an assassin that can go in and big chunk an operative and then sneak away, whereas the Locust is more capable of cutting a swath through a big horde of enemies. So I love it. I think that's so sick. That makes them so much better versus elites too. All right, and there's another change here. Heavy gunner operatives gain the following abilities: Suspensor System. The heavy special rule of ranged weapons the operative is equipped with is treated differently. Instead, you can't move more than 3 circle instead of having to only dash. So, oh my goodness, guys, this is so big. Wormblade is good again. I'm so excited about this. So yeah, oh my god, and the fact that the Suspensor System changes how heavy works, you can actually have a mining laser come in from hiding and shoot with Call to Ambush. Oh my lord, that's amazing. That's super good. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, these changes are, I mean, this I don't know if this makes them S tier, but Wormblade is a legit team now. This helps them against elites big time. Yeah, no, I'm just super excited about this. This is a sweet change. Okay, next up. Warp Coven, nothing for once. Warp Coven always gets changes. All right, let's go. Kroot. We have a change here. Kill Broker operatives call the kill ability. Select one enemy operative in the kill zone. Visibility is not required, thank God. I hated that. And each time you use it, select one of the following effects for that turning point instead of auto-rotating a normal hit. Ceaseless or P1. Okay, that's pretty sweet. The big thing here is that you don't need visibility anymore. I hated that. But now you can give your sniper Ceaseless or P1. You can give the Pistolier P1, which is actually really good. It's still just on one target. Pretty great against elites. This makes the Tribalist, the other heavy gunner, a little bit better. You're not like chained to the Skinner quite as often. Interesting. That's all they're getting though. I'm a little surprised by that. Like Pathfinder getting like huge buffs, Wormblade getting massive buffs, Hunter Clade getting bigger buffs than this, in my opinion. And Kroot, who I think is the worst team in the game right now, by win rates, they're the worst performing team in the game right now. They're getting like breadcrumbs. So I think you could have done a lot more with Kroot here. Good change, but not enough. Okay, next up, nothing for Breachers, nothing for Intercession. Hyrotech, no, nothing. Caserin, we have Caserin changes. Elite ability. After adjusting your first dice, if you discard one of your attack dice, you can spend elite points to adjust an additional dice, but only one of your remaining failed hits to a normal hit. Wow. That's really okay. Why? Am I crazy? Why? Is it because there's none in Atlanta? Nobody took Caserin in Atlanta? That's a huge change. I mean, okay. Next, change second sentence of Recon Trooper Operative's Warden Auspex action to until the end of the turning point. Each time a friendly Caserin operative makes a shooting attack, that enemy operative is not obscured. So, okay. All right. Ignoring obscurity a little easier. I mean, that's really good. Good against elites. They're already amazing against elites. This is not great. Okay, next, foregrip equipment. Gunner and sharpshooter operatives can get it for 2 EP. Okay. So the big thing is the elite ability. I don't know why we're messing with elite points more, because I think that the last buff made elite points function the way they should. Caserin is really, 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 really good against elites. These changes push them further in that direction and does nothing to help them with hordes, which is what they're actually struggling against. I mean, it was already like a horrible matchup for elites in a Caserin. Now it's just, yeah, if you get like a Melta shot and you get like 1 crit, you can just guarantee kill a Marine. If you're shooting something that's like 8 wounds, you can roll 4 ones, and if you're willing to spend, you can kill something. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like that. I don't see how that's necessary. I don't think that's going to actually help them become a good team. It's just going to help them crush in situations where they're already good. So, okay. Next up, we have Exaction Squad. All right. Execution Order, a tactical ploy. It's 0 now the first time you use it, 1 after. And you can use it more than once. Okay. That's amazing. And line of sight not required. I love that we're getting rid of these things that require line of sight from like one guy. It's just really annoying. Okay, so that's an amazing change. It really helps. So this is a team that actually needed help against elites, and they're getting it. That's going to be really big in the elite matchup. All right. Following weapons now only have 1 profile instead of 2, with both previous profile special rules and critical hit rules not separated. Oh, so the shield. The shield and shock maul. I'm sorry. Yeah, the shield and shock maul. So that makes sense, because you were never using the offensive profile. It's honestly not going to change a lot. It'll change on the leader, because the leader is lethal 5. That's actually really good on him. But yeah, it doesn't change a ton. You just don't have the choice anymore. They're not making you choose. You're just going to pick the right thing every time now. And I guess once in a great while you might benefit from the stun, but usually you're just going to parry, because you double parry and you go first. But I don't know. Cool though. And then Proctor Exactant's operatives deploy Nuncio Aquila action 0. Oh, that's huge. So before, you pay an APL with the leader and you put the grizzly mark thing down, and then if you do it again, you can move it. But now you can move it for free every single time you go. So it's like constantly moving throughout the battlefield. That's awesome, actually. That's really fun. I think that's going to be cool to play with. I like that a lot. So these are good changes. I rate this well. I hate the Caserin stuff. I don't get it. All right. Hearthkin, nothing. Felgor's. All right. Felgor buffs. While a Felgor Ravager operative has a Frenzy token, treat its APL characteristic as 1. for the purpose of determining control. Okay, that's good. Seems small, but I think it's going to be really meaningful. Like now you can move and take objectives, or if there's 2 guys, you have 3 APL now. I like that a lot. That's really good. And I think it's a good middle ground. Sometimes I think with the balanced data slice, we struggle to see like middle grounds, like we'll buff something or nerf something, and then we'll like take it all the way back to the other side. This is like we found the middle ground. I like that. Incapacitating a Felgor Ravager operative with a frenzy token. Add the following bullet point: critical damage is inflicted on a subsequent shooting attack. Yeah, okay. Because there was the thing where, like, rules is written, you could frenzy and like kill them in the same shooting attack, but they just cleaned that up. So now if you kill something, if you frenzy a Ravager with a shooting attack, it frenzies. It doesn't die if you have a crit or something like that. All right, Chaos Cult. This is another big one. Here we go. What do we got? Friendly devotee operatives can mutate at the end of a combat in which they incapacitated an enemy operative and were not incapacitated themselves. They cannot do so by just inflicting damage. That's I don't know how much I need to explain here. This is pretty big in my opinion. I've seen Alexa, who won Worlds with cults, say he didn't actually mutate a lot off devotees. I don't know. When I played them at ACO, I was mutating constantly with devotees. And I think more importantly, it changes how your opponent is able to play and like worry about devotees. Because before, unless you were like a really reliable melee operative, you can't even like feel okay charging a basic cultist. Because it's not going to kill you, sure, but you might not. If you whiff, suddenly like you just made a torment next turn. So that's great. That's a really good change. Playing against that was really dumb, and playing as it was really dumb. All right, mutation into a new operative. The new operative no longer has full wounds remaining. Instead, it has the same wounds remaining as the preceding operative did, but then regains D3 plus wounds if it's now a mutant operative, or D3 plus 3 if it's now a torment. In either case, it cannot go above its maximum wounds. Okay, so this is, I think it should have worked like this always. So like if you have a 1 wound mutant sitting around, it's not going to go and turn into a 13 wound torment. That's just great. And not only that, but a full wound mutant at 7 wounds, chances are it's not going to be a full health torment. It's going to go bump up to 10, and then you roll a d3 and you add that. So chipping damage on a mutants matters now. You don't need to burst them down quite. It's not as urgent to burst them down. You can actually like chip them away and work at killing them. I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think that's a really good change. Again, I feel like it should have worked that way always, but you know. Inquisitorial Agent, nothing? Wait, really? We're not nerfing Inquisition? Okay, I guess that's the best team now. Well, that's all of it. What? We're not nerfing Inquisition? Okay, so overall, grading this data slate. I know Ryan and I at Command Point, we're usually more like, I feel like we're not very critical. Typically, like we have usually a pretty optimistic outlook on changes and releases. And there's other channels that are more critical, and I think it's good to have like a balance. But honestly, I don't want to sound like a downer, but I don't love this data slate. There are things I love in the data slate. I think the cult changes are great. Big fan of that. I think that the Felgor changes are good. I hate the Caserin changes. I think they're so unnecessary, and they don't help at all with Caserin struggles. They just help them where they're already succeeding. I think the Exaction changes are great. I don't know if it's going to be enough to make them good, which I guess is the main thing, but it helps. It definitely helps. Really like the changes there. Kroot, like not nearly enough. Cool change, but not enough. Wormblade, amazing. That's my favorite part about the data slate. Wormblade's like a legit good team now, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun playing them. I might pick them back up, honestly. I'm super excited about these changes. Corsairs, I don't know. I don't think this stuff was needed, really. I don't like the direction. I think you want to help their reliability a little bit. If you're going to help them at all. Yeah, I don't know if they need help. I think they're balanced. They were balanced. Not huge changes, but yeah. Pathfinder, oh my god, I don't like it at all. They're going to be really good. Commando, not enough. Not enough of a nerf. Okay, so that's all of it. Inquisition needed a nerf too. You could have just made the Breachers -1 operative on the Inquisition ancillary, but I guess we're not doing that. So yeah, so quick hot take: best teams right now after this data slate: Vet Guard, Inquisition, Pathfinders. Those are the best teams now. Worst team, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll do a tier list soon. This has been the data slate. Keep tuning in to the 12 Days of Kill Team. What's going on right now? The first episode dropped on the same day as the data slate, so it kind of overshadowed it. But yeah, tune into that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the subscribers and the Patreon people. You guys rock. You give us life. And you know, hope you're enjoying your holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. This is Shane from Command Point, signing out.